Hey guys, it's Corporate Carolyn taking a quick moment before I eat my lunch, and I thought I would do a follow-up to the video that I posted about don't give up, how your career situation can turn around overnight. Well, I just wanted to follow up that to give a little more detail, because I know I started to go off on a tangent talking about some of my technical writing experiences, but I wanted to say for anyone out there who is in a job right now that they're not liking so much, that they're hating, or just doing for the money, I just wanted to let you know that just because you're at a particular point in your life, it doesn't mean that that's your forever experience. It doesn't mean that things aren't going to get better, that another job could not come along just like that. It doesn't mean that. And the reason I say that is because I wanted to share with you guys, like back in 2019, I was sitting right at this table, maybe like doing my devotion or doing other things, maybe like to look for a job or whatever, which was just a horrible experience because I had been out of the IT arena for a while, you know, between volunteering for layoffs with kids or jobs getting on my nerves because they were a lot more technical than I wanted them to be. And so I would just leave, start working for my husband, doing real estate specific type stuff and, just taking a break, but it was putting all these holes in my resume. So back in 2019, when I was looking, trying to find a job, maybe as a business analyst, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not qualified for business analysis at this point. And then I even thought about maybe technical writing, but they were listing all this experience and I didn't have the credentials to really do that at the time. And some people were even talking about certifications as technical writers, and I really didn't want to do that. I'm such an old dog. I hate to learn new tricks. And so I just kept looking and looking, and finally, after sitting here crying a few times, thinking, asking the Lord, am I ever going to get back into the IT field? Am I ever going to make the kind of money I used to make? And I found myself, because my husband said, just take a shot, just apply for some of the jobs. But I don't know about your industry, but in IT, you're not going to go in and just take a shot, during the interview. It's either you know these tools or you don't. Either you've done these things or you haven't. And I've been on the other side hiring people, for development roles and, just different things, or writing. Well, not necessarily development, but writing, to support development activities. And, like when the people didn't know, it was apparent. One or two questions. So anyway, I was just in a really bad place and I felt so sad, and I found myself, and I'm burning up right now with all of the goofy lights, but I found myself looking for jobs that didn't require any experience. My husband was saying, well, maybe you could be like a executive assistant or something. And you look at that, just because you go to another industry that might not be as detailed as the industry you're in, they still require experience. You still need to have done that work. And so I was really, really sad, almost on the verge of depression, because I just didn't know if I'd ever be able to find something that I could do in a technical arena. And so crying, looking, couldn't find anything. And my husband would say, well, did you find anything? And then I'm just like, I can't find anything. And so then finally, I got this idea, because I had been doing a lot of freelance type stuff, short-term assignments where I was definitely on LinkedIn, Career Builder, just a regular job boards with my little holy resume and job experience. And then what wound up happening is, people would say, well, would you like to do, blah and blah. And if the hourly rate was right, then I would definitely consider it. And so that kind of got me in different doors, but nothing for long term. And so again, I kept looking and looking. And so finally, I just said, maybe, I'm like, Lord, do you want me to work at Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, since I'm there so much? Is there anything else for me to do. And then sometimes friends don't make it any better, because I know I was at White House Black Market, where I got this bustier and matching skirt that comes along with it. That goes with that jacket that also came from there as well. And the person was like, you love our stuff so much, maybe you should work here. And then I was with my friend, and then she was mentioning it to her as well. And she said, I have a real job. And I'm just like, I just felt horrible, because she worked in the industries that I work, and I used to be her boss actually for a time, and here she comes saying I have a real job. And so if I could have, I just would have fallen on that floor, and I just would have started crying right there. So but anyway, fast forward a few months, I just went ahead, because like I said, I wanted, I think in another video I mentioned that we had the benefits associated with being in your own business, or having your own business. And so we had benefits from Obamacare, from the marketplace, and I don't care what political affiliation you have, they were horrible for us. I mean, we spent almost $2,000 a month for the crappiest health insurance I've ever had in my entire life. And so I was like, I just want to work for someone. I want some reasonably priced benefits where I can go where I want to go to get a mammogram and not have to pay for it, out of pocket, to go where I want to go. And so anyway, I applied for this job as a technical editor, and I had never been a professional technical editor. Went through, the process, jumped through a few hoops, and then the Lord opened up a door, and I wound up being a technical editor. And I was like, how hard can it be? I wanted it to be something, and what my prayer was, and I suggest praying when you're in these low periods, I was asking, Lord, just give me a job that I can do that pays, somewhere in the range that I used to make, and help me get, wonderfully priced benefits. And so I wound up getting this job. And of course, they made it so convoluted, it didn't even look like anything what technical editing should be. So like for about a year, it was just horrible. Just thought that was the horrible commute I was talking about in that previous video. And I'd be on the bus and on the train doing my devotion, asking the Lord to get me out of there. And so it was horrible, but it was definitely what I needed to get me caught back up with my technical skills. So like sometimes when you're going through a rough moment like that, it's to get your foot back in a door, to get you a skill or two that you need. Conveniently, it was near the subway station that would take me to the airport when I used to travel to watch my son play football during his last year of college. So, that was another benefit of it. It was horrible, for everything else. I hated it, but my son had said that I was left behind, in a technological sense. And so that brought me back up. I'm no longer left behind. So that really helped me. And so I went from crying in 2019, being upset and fussing with God, like saying, I asked you for something that I could do and that I would enjoy. And I'm like, this is not that. So I had about a year of that, whining to the Lord, looking like a scrub, thinking that I wouldn't succeed there. And then someone who, I don't know if she thought that I could do this, but she asked me if I would lead a training session because she had a migraine or whatever. So I agreed to do it. And then next thing you know, I went from scrub to hero, and people who had never seen me before started, like commenting to the boss that didn't like me, and that was almost like hazing me, talking about, how good I was and what a great job I was doing. And then I wound up being the person to lead that training session. And so it's so funny how things opened up. And one of the people that I thought was a hazer at the time, she asked me, she said, how did all of a sudden you just turn into the queen of everything here? Literally, these are verbatim words from someone. And I said, I asked the Lord to help me. And so while I was stuck there, he did help me. And then all of a sudden, I started updating my LinkedIn profile. And then someone, like listening to the younger person who was also a senior technical writer, and she wound up leaving before me. And she's like, girl, you better update your LinkedIn profile. So I listened. She told me to look at her example. I did. I updated it. And next thing you know, someone called me and said, do you want, to interview for a position as a senior technical writer? And I said, yeah, I do. And it was in an industry that I didn't think that I'd be able to, to really do anything in. But I wound up interviewing on my way to Georgia in the car. I was on a Teams interview, if you can believe that, and I wound up getting the job. And I did that for almost a year, and the project didn't get extended because we accomplished everything we were supposed to accomplish. And then I was back in the job market again, crying the blues, wondering if I'd ever get another position where I made the same kind of money that I made on that project. And then next thing you know, a friend that I made, at the same company recommended me for something else. And then here I am almost 2 years later at 57, enjoying a job experience better than I ever have in my entire life. So it's 2023 now. Back in 2019, I was sitting here crying. In 2023, I'm sitting here telling you guys about the best career experience that I've had in over 30 years. So believe me, things can turn around like that. But in all of the stories that I told you, there was diligence, there was perseverance, there was crying, there was a lot of praying, and listening to advice that came from people around me, learning from examples, but it turned around. So you don't know what your situation could be like a year from now, a few weeks from now, and most of my turnarounds happen from a phone call related to a profile that I've had on LinkedIn. And so just wanted to, come back and let you guys know that it is possible for things to turn around. So just hang in there. Don't give up. And trust me, things could be a lot different for you in the very near future. So hang in there, keep fighting, and let me know how things turn around for you. I look forward to hearing it. But for now, I gotta get back to my lunch and to my document.